I've noticed that Penang is very diverse in terms of the culture here. All sorts of different street art has been popping up. It feels like you step back in time a little bit. And as expected, it's pouring down with rain. Drenched again.
I am in Penang for the second leg of my Malaysia trip. I am here to experience more Malaysian culture and to see some of the most incredible street art in the world.
Welcome to Penang in Malaysia. Now, Penang is a little island just off mainland Malaysia, and it may seem like I'm on quite an unassuming road, but this is where I'm starting my day. I'm going on a bit of a walking tour around Penang to look at all the street art. So for the last 10 to 15 years or so here in Georgetown in Penang, all sorts of different street art has been popping up. It's become a really popular thing to do. Obviously for me, as someone who enjoys art, I couldn't resist. So I'm going to try and get through as many different things as I can. And I feel like this could be a base for my artwork for Penang. I just love all these different street art. I always have done, even back to Banksy. I've always loved that sort of thing. So yeah, I can't wait to see what Penang has to offer in terms of the art. And then I'm going to explore the rest of the city of Georgetown and hopefully get out of Georgetown as well. So yeah. First point to call, let's find all these little hidden pieces of art.
These pieces of street art are dotted around Georgetown in Penang, and you can't walk for more than 1 minute without seeing one. Georgetown itself is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and seeing street art in this setting isn't usual. But for me, it's a big reason why I'm here.
Walking past a Durian fruit shop again then, just like I did in Kuala Lumpur, and I know the smell anywhere. I always smell it before I can see the shops. It's just that weirdest smell ever. Straight away I'm like, I just know it's around me. Again, if you haven't had one before and you're in Malaysia, Philippines, you've got to try. It will forever be one of the biggest food enigmas for me ever. Like, what is the taste? What is the smell? It's just, yeah, it's so strange, but that smell is now ingrained in me forever. I always smell the shops before I see them. It's a weird response now that I've got.
There was a very common theme when looking at a lot of the street art.
The street art is amazing. There's so many cats, like cats in the art. So I don't know the significance of the cats here in Malaysia, but there's just so many cats in all the pieces of art, which is cool because I love cats.
This is actually to raise awareness for stray animals and animal adoption. But when walking around Georgetown, there were so many different types that everyone will have their own opinions and thoughts on what they like.
But the cool thing is, it's places like this as well have this metal art. There's a lot of mixture between the metal wire art, then you have just the paint murals, then you've also got the physical murals as well, like with the bikes and the chair. So it's almost like a performative city now with the amount of art they've got dotted around. And it's good to see somewhere like this embracing that rather than trying to take it away. So I definitely think it adds an extra dimension to Penang and to Georgetown. So yeah, and it draws a lot of attention as well. There's lots of people wanting to get their photographs on the bikes or just with the most famous pieces of art. But like I said, it's definitely inspiring me to add big portions of that in my drawing for Penang, because it's almost like you get a piece of art on every single street corner. Now I'm going to head to the Jetty, the edge of the water, because Penang is a big island and apparently there's some traditional Malaysian things down there, so I'm going to have a little look and see what it's like. But I've noticed that Penang is very diverse in terms of the culture here. There's a huge amount of Chinese influence, of course modern day Malaysian influence. I've seen Indonesian, Indian, but not only that, I believe there's lots of British influence across Georgetown and Penang as well from the colonial times. So yeah, it's almost like you're in a different country every few streets, because it just changed from a Chinatown to an Indian area, I think soon to be British areas. So it's fascinating. So even here you have the very old style houses. It's not been modernised like the other areas of Penang have. It's very quiet over here as well, so try to be respectful.
And I say this in the nicest terms. This quiet, quaint area of Georgetown is still where many people live. And when walking through, there were still people who weren't particularly respecting this. So if you are to visit, everyone is very welcoming, but just be respectful of people's living areas. There are so many historical background references and modern culture references overlapping throughout Georgetown, which gives a very unique atmosphere.
So many old decor buildings like this in Georgetown. It's stunning, which is nice compared to Kuala Lumpur, for example, which is obviously a lot more modern, a lot more built up. But here in Georgetown and Penang, there's lots of traditional buildings, just kept the way they were many years ago. But even on a street like this, where it feels like you step back in time a little bit, there's still those incredible pieces of art so close by, so it's a really cool place. Just stepping into Little India, the whole place completely changed. Literally, it was like being back in India. It's only about a 5-minute walk away from where all the art murals are, where a lot of the Chinese influence is, and the music changed, the fashion changed, the people changed. So I said before that it is very diverse in terms of the culture and ethnicities here in Penang, but it was such a dramatic, quick change. It took me a bit by surprise. Yeah, it's a fascinating place, like I said before, to have that rich, diverse change of culture. And that's why I think one of my favourite pieces of art I've seen so far are the 3 cultural girls. You have one girl who's Indian, one girl who's Chinese, and I think the other girl is Malaysian, which makes sense.
Then, just a short walk away, I started to see more British influence. Georgetown itself is named after King George III, the former ruler of Britain, and more references started to appear.
And this is when you're starting to see the British influence a lot more from the colonial times. Behind me, you have Fort Cornwallis, which obviously was part of the British Empire many years ago. Been past the Queen Victoria Diamond Jubilee commemoration, King Edward Road. It's all very strange. But I guess it's a little nod to the past of Malaysia to keep it all here. So yeah, it's obviously very interesting. It's just bizarre for me as someone from Britain to see these names and things dotted around.
I was starting to get hungry, but before I looked for some food, I walked through the Hin Bus Depot. which is another well-known art centre here in Penang. Naturally, it was once a bus depot in 1947, before being turned into a place to house weekly art stalls. It's difficult to think of many places which are so art-heavy like here in Penang. It was time to walk through the many different street stalls, but there was trouble brewing.
Another thing Georgetown is known for is all the street food, and the streets behind me start to explode with life as it gets toward night time, with all the stalls starting to open. Just a big crash of thunder, and it's getting very black in the sky over that side. So I think we're going to be due a bit of a storm very soon. So I'm going to stick towards where the restaurants and street stalls are so I can get some food. I don't want to get stuck in the rain like I did in Jakarta of Indonesia. If you haven't seen that video, give it a watch. It's absolutely ridiculous. But a lot of the food has a big Chinese influence, as you can imagine. After seeing this city today, the Chinese, Indian, Malaysian, Indonesian fusions all together with the food. I've loved this city. It's a small city, it's very quaint. But I think my biggest takeaway from it is the art. It's just so unbelievable everywhere. It's inspiring as well. I can't wait to recreate my own version of the artwork. And here comes the rain, right on cue. I knew it was coming, but yeah, it's literally just starting. First few spots, and judging by behind me, it's going to be a lot of rain very soon. So I've got a decision to make. I either go for street food now or a restaurant, because very soon the street food will not be available because it'll be pouring down. And there's no cover. It's all open plan like most street food is, so yeah.
After settling into a restaurant, I got myself a kari kapitan, which is a classic Penang Nyonya chicken curry. It is a rich, delicious meal with Malaysian spices, and I got a side of rice.
That's a really good meal. Really tasty. It's quite spicy, but not too spicy. Yeah, it was delicious. So nice. And as expected, it's pouring down with rain. So I made the right decision to go into a restaurant rather than street food. Oh, that's lightning. But it always rains. Everywhere I go, it rains. Yeah, you try to escape the rain in England and it follows you everywhere. Okay, yeah, some pretty fierce rain now. What a nightmare. I knew it'd get a lot worse. Oh, this is horrendous. Drenched again. Okay, this is ridiculous. I'm running back to the hotel because there's not many hiding places here either. Last few places I've been to, you can always hide under like a bit of a roof, but this time I've not got that. Oh dear. But yeah, Penang, I've loved you, but you've not ended well, drenched. But I have an umbrella. For once, I have an umbrella.
I have loved my time in this unique artistic area of the world, and I wanted to turn this experience into my own piece of Penang artwork. check out some more of my videos and subscribe to the channel.